Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted. Like I said before I pushed record there, David, it was Miami 2021 the last time I spoke to you.
Oh, the good
So
old, the good old days, the
the
fun
good
times.
old days.
That's gone fast, very
A little
fast.
bit of sunshine, you can't go wrong, can you?
Can't it really makes a difference? It really does.
Definitely.
I could use some sun at the moment.
I'm sure you'll get some sun soon enough, Dave. David, listen, let's just jump straight into it then. The reason why I want to get your opinion on this is because you've been in the division, you've been a world champion, you know what it takes. So when you have an ex-world champion in Anthony Joshua taking on a YouTuber in Jake Paul, I'm jumping straight in the deep end here. What was your initial thoughts when that fight was made? What was going through your mind?
The first initial thought when I heard about it was it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
I heard obviously, look, I heard Anthony Joshua mentioned as an opponent for Jake Paul, and I kind of dismissed it as in, yeah, that's never going to happen. And then I heard some more talk about Anthony Joshua, and then Tank Davis, his name got brought up, and it's like, okay, it was going from Anthony Joshua, now you're fighting, do you want to take Tank Davis? And like, okay, so I understand that he's got a massive 100-pound weight advantage. Okay, I understand why they've made that fight. But when that fight got cancelled and Anthony Joshua's name came up again, I was like, okay, they're going to say AJ, then they're going to wheel out somebody else. But they stuck with AJ. And I didn't think there was a version of reality where Anthony Joshua steps in the ring with 10-ounce gloves, boxing rules in a heavyweight contest with Jake Paul. I didn't think that was possible, but it is, and it's happening. And my initial thoughts were Anthony's just going to blast him out as soon as he hits him. He's going to just punch his head in and knock him out. That was my initial thoughts.
See what I was sitting ringside when Anthony Joshua annihilated Francis Ngannou. Now Ngannou's not a boxer, but he is a fighter. He's a big lump. He knows what it takes to take punches. Jake Paul,
He was a lot more than that going into the fight with Anthony Joshua. He'd just beaten, on my opinion, and knocked down Tyson Fury, who was the champion at the time. So I don't think that fight is a close representation of what Jake Paul brings to the table,
Mhm.
because Anthony Joshua was going into that fight against someone who looked like they just beat Tyson Fury. So although on paper Ngannou didn't have any credentials in boxing, he had the physicality, the size, the strength, and all of that cage fighting background to somehow put together an amazing 10 rounds with Tyson Fury and lose a close fight. So Anthony Joshua went into the Ngannou fight on his best form. He went into there with that fear factor where he didn't want the performance Tyson Fury had. He wanted to really impress. So he obviously tuned right in for that fight, and the results were clear to see. Is Anthony Joshua going to go into this fight with Jake Paul with the same mindset after seeing him fight on a beat on points a 58-year-old Mike Tyson? My opinion is no. I think he feels zero fear in this fight. He's in a unique situation where he's going into a boxing ring with someone he doesn't believe deserves to be there. So is he going to be paying the price in training? Is he going to be getting those early nights? Is he going to be pushing himself in sparring to get the very best out of himself, like he did for the Ngannou fight? Unknown. I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to risk having any hard sparring just in case he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he misses this $75 million payday against someone he doesn't believe will be good enough to be a legitimate sparring partner for him. You know what I mean? So it's a very unusual situation, very, very unusual. And, obviously all the advantages are in Anthony Joshua's favor, except the mindset factor. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Him reaching round 3, round 4
Mm.
is in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, if Anthony Joshua doesn't detonate his right hand or a jab off of Jake Paul in the first 30 seconds, minute, and put him in problems, some people would feel that he's underachieved or he let boxing down. People don't consider Jake Paul a real boxer because he's got such a big profile on social media and he's got that background that he's come from. But he's dedicated himself to the sport for the last 5-6 years now. You know, he hasn't fought anyone world class. He fought people who were once world class, but when he fought them, they'd passed their primes. Now he's fighting someone in their prime, someone 37-year-old Anthony Joshua, someone who's been there, seen it, done it, Olympic gold medal, won a heavyweight championship, multiple world title fights. This is a whole different ball game from what Jake Paul's fought in the past. But he's coming into it with confidence. He's saying all the right things. So I'm really interested to see what he's gonna bring to the table in that very first round.
I'm intrigued as well, David, to be honest. But can I just flip you? Like I said, you've been there. You've won the T-shirt. You're a two-weight world champion as well. You've been a heavyweight world champion. Now put yourself in this situation that Anthony Joshua is in. People argue maybe he's a little bit past his prime, but he's still
who's past his prime. Sorry.
Maybe Anthony Joshua's a little bit past his prime. But you've been in that situation. If this was offered to you when you were sort of at the tail end of your career, and you're fighting somebody like Jake Paul, a young, maybe, although he's dedicated his life to the sport, how would you approach it, David? How would you approach this sort of fight, knowing that everyone is expecting David Haye to knock out this guy in one round, but in your head, you know that this kid or this man in front of you hasn't been there, done what you've done, hasn't got the T-shirt that you've got, hasn't got the titles that you've got. How would you approach this fight?
Knowing my personality, it'd have been a fun night at the office for me. I would have treated it like, oh, what a great situation to be in, where there's an opportunity for me to fight someone who the likelihood is the result isn't going to be what it was against Dubois. I'm going to get paid 20 times more for the fight against a lesser opponent statistically. So yeah, it'd have been like great, fantastic. It would have been great. I'd have one of those every couple of months if they're available.
Oh, listen, I'm a YouTuber, Dave, but I'm not calling you out. What kind of, like I said, what if it goes past the second round? Is it bad for boxing?
No, I don't think it's bad. No, I don't think any part of this is bad, but I think the whole spectacle's good for boxing. What it does, it gets people who wouldn't ordinarily watch boxing watching boxing. It gets people who have got no interest in the governing bodies. They don't know the rules of boxing, but they do know Jake Paul is fighting his former heavyweight champion, and Jake Paul's probably going to get knocked out. So we're going to tune in, or we're going to tune in to support Jake Paul going up against the biggest possible challenge. He's put himself in an environment that it's like going to Mount Everest, never going up any mountains, and all of a sudden you're aiming for the peak of Everest. You might lose a few toes. You might have some, hypoxic issues. You blood poisoning from the oxygen. There's so many different things that could go wrong. That puts your life at risk, but he's willing to do it. So let's watch it. Let's see what he's going to do. Let's enjoy the spectacle. It doesn't harm boxing. It helps boxing, in my opinion.
And it's like I say, it's on Netflix as well. So when everybody's got Netflix, so it'll be in every household. We just need to look at the numbers that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul done. Are you expecting similar numbers for this one? Because I think a lot of people are going to be expecting Anthony Joshua to obliterate, and I think people want to see that. I don't know why, but people want to see that.
Everybody who tuned into Netflix, and I heard there were some crazy numbers. They had so many subscribers for Netflix for that specific event. Mike Tyson obviously got all the history, and he's a living legend. But every single person who watched that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight will watch this one. They saw a 58-year-old Mike Tyson lose to a young, hungry fighter who they don't believe deserved the position to do that to Tyson. It's only because he brought money. Now that same kid has put himself in the other side where he doesn't have the advantages. So all of the people who watched the Tyson Paul first fight are going to watch this fight. Plus all of the boxing fraternity, all of the social media fraternity, everybody is going to be involved in this fight because it's a massive spectacle.
I think we've got to give Jake Paul respect as well because, I mean, not many people will call it Anthony Joshua, especially a guy that's just been boxing for 6 years, and he does take the sport serious. Let's say the last 6 or 7 years, he's dedicated his life to the sport, and you can tell he's taking this fight serious because he's drafted in Lawrence Okolie, Frank Sanchez, and I think Jared Anderson as
Yeah.
well for some heavy sparring. So he is taking this serious, it seems.
He's doing all of the things that if you've got yourself a big task in front of you, you need to put in place to give yourself the best chance. As all you can do in boxing is give yourself as much advantage as you can. And that's preparing yourself for the battle you're about to be in. So whatever those Anderson, Sanchez, and Okolie are putting on him, it's going to feel the same when he gets into with AJ, but a little bit harder because they're smaller gloves. You know, the referees letting the action. You know, they're not sparring partners. This is what you would expect someone to do to prepare for Jake Paul. I don't know who Anthony Joshua's sparring with. Is he doing any sparring at all? Does he think he needs to do any sparring? I don't know. I'm unaware of what AJ is doing, but I have, as you said, I've seen the A list of sparring because they're not sparring partners. They're all potential future world champions down the line. So the fact that he's brought these young guys in to give him that good work shows he's not turning up. I don't know, you know, it's not even about turning up for a paycheck. He could get the same paycheck or close to fighting anybody, some other YouTuber or an MMA fighter or, you know, a kickboxer or something where he's got an advantage. But now he's gone the other way where he's given away all of the advantages that he's been into the ring with in the past. You know, Chavez Jr., for instance, past his prime, bit smaller. He's the other way around. He's given away all of his advantages because he's so powerful and he brings so much revenue to the table. He can call the shots, and he's called the toughest shot possibly. He's gone out of his way to put himself in front of Everest and say, "Look, watch this. I'm gonna hit the peak."
We say in boxing, David, that heavyweight boxing only takes one punch. Does Jake Paul have that punch?
Any fighter over 200 pounds, if they land with a big shot, can put the other guy to sleep. Sometimes it takes more than one shot, but it takes one shot to change the fight. You know, I've seen Jake Paul land some big shots and take some people out. Fantastic. But the chins of the people he took out, compare it to a 37-year-old Anthony Joshua. Would those shots have knocked Anthony Joshua out? It's unknown. Maybe, maybe not. But Anthony Joshua has been hit on the chops by a lot of big fighters, big professional heavyweights, former heavyweights. Like Klitschko landed some big shots on his chin, and he got put down. He was able to get back up and turn the tide. So, you know, AJ sort of passed the heart check. He's always, you know, he's never given up. He always goes out on a shield. So I'm definitely intrigued that this. It's the first bell. It's off the first bell. I'm looking forward to seeing them across the ring. The corners get out. The referee's there. The two fighters, seconds out. Bang, round one. Ding ding. What's gonna happen? I don't know. It's a big ring, a 24-foot ring. Lots of different things could happen in there. You know, Jake could move around, try to get his feet. You know, try to pick him off for the jab. You know, but AJ's got a good jab himself. He's got an Olympic gold medalist jab. So it's, you know, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think I know what's going to happen, but anything can happen. Just when you think you've got things sussed out, you know, Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, the fan man comes in. Who could have predicted that a guy who's got on a parachute is going to land in the ring? Crazy stuff happens. And this seems like one of those crazy events where anything could happen. So a no contest, an accidental massive clash of heads, and there's a cut. There's like lots of injuries, shoulders, someone's Achilles gets snapped. Anything can happen. It's not a foregone conclusion. And I thought it was when it was first announced. It's only after a few days that I've let it soak in and thought, okay, why are they taking this fight? They're taking it because they think they can win. They're not taking it because they know they're going to lose. Why are they going to do that? It makes no sense. He could fight anyone else for the same money. He could fight a feather. He could get away with fighting a featherweight if he wanted to. People are still going to pay to see it.
He almost did against Gervonta Davis. Well, he's a lightweight.
That's what I'm saying. He's got so much power in the game. He can pick and choose who he wants. And he himself has said, I want that. I want the biggest guy. Bring it on. You know, you got to respect it when you don't have to do it. And someone's putting themselves out there like that. Mad respect.
Definitely, I agree with you, David. Now, I'm assuming that we're all thinking Anthony Joshua is going to get the job done. Now, I spoke to Eddie Hearn in Monte Carlo, Monaco last week, and he basically said that all going well for Anthony Joshua, he'll get a fight in February, and then his Excellency Turki Sheikh saying Tyson Fury fight September 2026. Now, I know we've been talking about this fight for a long time, this Joshua versus Fury fight. But it's 2026 the cutoff point, David. If the fight does not happen in 2026, Joshua and Fury, that ship has sailed. There's no point doing it.
I've always said it's it's crazy to talk about a fight. It's crazy for Anthony Joshua to talk about a fight in February. It's even crazier to talk about a fight in later on in 2026 before he's won this next fight. You have me. It's everyone's so looking past Jake Paul, even his promoter. You know, I've never heard Eddie Hearn saying about the next fight. It's always let's get this one done, then this one. But he's gone two down the road. Right before the Dubois fight, we were talking the same way. It was all about okay, get him out of the way. Then we're going to do the big one with Tyson Fury. Then he gets knocked out. You know what I mean? So it's got on paper he should win this fight, and he should win whoever he's going to fight in February. But that hasn't happened yet, and I think Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury will fight at some stage because it makes so much sense financially for both of them. It's the fans, it's the fight the fans want to see. I want to see it. I've been wanting to see it for a long time. And, what is Tyson Fury doing in this same time? If Anthony Joshua's fighting Jake Paul next week, he's going to fight again in February, and then he's looking again. So he's looking at staying busy. Has Tyson Fury got anything planned? I saw him talking about making a comeback, but I haven't seen any fights lined up yet. So until Tyson Fury does announce a fight and get back into the ring, and it's hard to talk about that fight because Tyson Fury's retired effectively and doesn't have any scheduled fights.
It's like you sort of alluded to the fact that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, you don't know what's going to happen. Head clash, a fan guy coming in. We don't know. And it seems like the last two, especially maybe 3 or 4 years, that the landscape in the heavyweight division keeps on changing. We almost expected it to just go Joshua and Furies and Usyks and that, but it seems it's crazy. Who would have thought Anthony Joshua would fight Jake Paul? And I want to get your thoughts on this. Who would have thought that Fabio Wardley would become world champion coming from a five-fight white collar background? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
If you would have told me after the first fight with Fraser Clark that I think that was a draw, that Fabio would then become heavyweight champion, I'd have said, I can't really see that. I said he was taking too many shots. He was getting that damage on his nose. I'd say he's got a lot to do before he can even think about that. This is British level, but he just keeps knocking him over. He's just the better the opposition, the better you see from him. I couldn't tell in that first fight, other than heart, bravery, a big dig, just blood and guts in that first Fraser fight. I didn't think he had the know-how to put something together, but over time, he's shown me time and time again. Every time I didn't think he'd beat Joseph Parker. I thought Joseph Parker would be too seasoned for him, he's too experienced, been around, former champion. I didn't, but he found a way. He found a way to use a very awkward style that he learned late on in life to great effect. And now he is, he's technically is the heavyweight champion of the world, holds a version of the heavyweight title. He's yet to fight and defend that title, but he's done it. He's done it. He'll forever be in the record book. So, credit to the young man. He's really done a good job. Coming from was it 4 white collar fights or something? He had no amateur pedigree, just figured it out in the pros. And I wouldn't have thought that was a possibility if you'd asked me this 5-6 years ago. I'd have thought you need to have those international fights, fighting the Russians, the Americans, the Cubans. That obviously you don't. I was wrong. You just need to be that good. You need to be a physical specimen. You need to have a granite chin, a massive punch, massive balls, and you've got to have a great game plan. And he seems to have all of those. So he's proved me wrong, and I'm happy for him to prove me wrong.
Talk a couple more then, just on the British heavyweight scene. TKV's British champion against Fraser Clark, and another grueling fight for Fraser Clark. I mean, those fights put miles on the clock. Just talk to me about that and TKV being world champion, because now there's talk about Dave Allen fighting TKV for the British title.
British champion, you mean?
British champion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What did I say there?
You said world champion.
British champion. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. British
I'm
champion.
like,
David
God damn,
Haye.
I missed that one. I missed that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's talking about Dave Allen fighting TKV now for that British title.
That's a great fight. Dave Allen, TKV, that's a great fight. You know, there was plenty action, blood and guts. Dave Allen loves the rumble. He wants that type of action. He needs it, you know.
Definitely.
So I think that's a great fight for the fans. You know, Dave's shown he can fill out arenas now. So great, we can make that happen.
One final one. Now, I don't know if you're a betting man or not, but your phone's going off again.
Sorry, phone was ringing.
That's all right. I don't know if you're a betting man or not, but
Sorry.
one final one. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if you're a betting man, but I don't know if you're going to be out in Miami to watch this fight. How do you see the fight? If you were to predict the fight, the outcome, how do you see it?
Okay, if I'm a betting man, if I'm betting with high bet and I want to go and put a bet on, it's not really worth betting on Anthony Joshua because he's such a heavy favorite. You know, I'd bet for Jake Paul to win for a no contest, a draw, technical draw, or something crazy to happen. I'd bet Jake Paul some fight either finds a way to win or get a draw, technical draw, or something, because you'll get 10-1, you get 10-1 odds that way round. You put 100 quid on that, you get 1,000. You put 100 quid on AJ, you get 10 quid back. It doesn't seem like it's worth betting.
So it's worth betting on Jake Paul then.
I'd say yeah. For don't put your life savings on it, but if you're gonna have a little flutter and you want to get something back, you'll get massive odds. Obviously, he's such an underdog, such a massive underdog that it's like, okay, you might as well put a little bit on there just to make it interesting. So if I was gonna bet on this fight, I'd bet on Jake Paul in some way, shape, or form to get the massive surprise upset victory. It will be the biggest sporting upset, I think, if this happens. Not just boxing, in any sport. The fact you'd get someone with such a lack of experience at the world level challenging someone who is world level and has proven it and has been number one, been up there with the world belts, unified championships, Olympic gold medal, world championship silver medalist as an amateur. It's crazy to think, but the fight's taking place, and I'm gonna go with Jake Paul by something crazy is going to happen, because no one else thinks he's going to win. No one else thinks he's got a chance in hell. I think zero. But I thought that I've gone into fight. I remember the first Bellew fight. I went into that fight, thought there's no way I'm going to lose this fight. Zero. There's nothing you can do. I'm in great shape. I trained. I said nothing you can do. He was way better than I thought he was going to be. He'd done stuff that he didn't do in previous fights. I was trying to force it. Achilles tendon snaps, all goes terribly. Who could have predicted that? Things happen in boxing, and AJ's about the same age as I was in that first Bellew fight. He's about 37. He's about the same age as I was. So it's like your body starts breaking when you get to that age. Well, mine did anyway. You know, my Achilles snapped right in front of everybody. What would AJ do in round one if his Achilles tendon snapped? Does that mean he still wins? Can he fight on one leg and win on one leg? Is he that much better? I don't know. I know. It's interesting. You don't know. You can't say it's not going to happen because it happened to me. Injuries happen. I've seen shoulder dislocations. Vitaly Klitschko, Chris Bird, shoulder came out, retired on his stool, didn't want to damage his shoulder further. He lost by stoppage. It happens. You can't say, no, it's impossible. It's never going to happen. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Wow, I never thought about that. Listen, I might actually make that flutter now.
Might as well do it. I go to Haye Bet and do it.
I will do that. There, it's the Haye Bet. The link is in the description as well. This video, Mr. David Haye, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. And like I say, enjoy the fight next week, and I'll catch up with you soon.
All the best, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.